What's up everyone on YouTube? MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. I'm about to do a tier list. I'm actually in the middle of doing a charity stream collecting funds for Children's Cancer Research Fund. So good shit, we've raised almost $2,000, and as an incentive I had that my dear chat here, which you can't see right now, but it is there, I'm doing this live, they got to request a tier list, and we made a poll, and incredibly, they want to see me do a tier list on character fun factor. I thought we were going to get something else, something more naughty. It's Fluke, thank you so much for a generous donation, man, to a very worthy cause, for the kids. Thank you, Fluke. So, without further ado, I will be ranking the characters out of my personal fun factor playing them. And I will be explaining a bit why I put a character, of course, at a specific spot. So, of course, this is going to be from my perspective, my personal fun factor with the characters. And what the characters I've always liked are characters I feel are technically complicated. I'm known as an execution guy, but also I want a difficult game plan. And this is interesting because it's a misconception among people that Kazuya has a very basic game plan. Yeah, absolutely, he punishes and then he goes for the Unga Bunga 50-50. Look how dumb he is, he only uses 5 attacks. Well, while that sounds very easy, I can assure you it is not. Punishing is very hard, not having pokes is not easy. You need to know, you have no panic buttons, you need to know the roster to be able to punish them. And then certainly you knock them down and do the 50-50. But the thing is, only using 5 moves, it bites you in the ass in the long run. Well, it becomes very difficult because where Lei can mix you up with his big move list. What move is he gonna do next? What string? What stance? Kazuya can't do that. You know what Kazuya will do, and he can only play, he plays around with timing. Mishima players, they play around with timing, not a big move list. When will he do the electric? When will he do the forward 3? So it's a double-edged sword with Kazuya. It's a simple game plan to explain, but putting it into practice takes forever. And of course, the execution. But Kazuya for me is incredibly fun because of the timing factor. When you play Kazuya versus Kazuya, you will both only use like 5 moves each. But that's what makes it so beautiful. It's like, how will you use those moves? You know exactly what your opponent is going to do, but it's like, how do you play around them, and where and when do you place them? Rather than overwhelming the opponent with a million moves, you know, that have the weirdest possible properties and etc. etc. Oh, Gigas is not a good example of this, but I'm just trying to explain that I like characters who have execution, they have the direct approach, and yeah, they're just challenging, I guess. But Mishimas have lost some, well, that was quite the intro. Mishimas have lost some of their fun factor, especially Kazuya and Devil Jin with the 3.30 update. They have lost sophistication. With Kazuya especially, you had to counter people who stepped towards their left shoulder. That was his big weakness, you know, part of his identity. So when you have suddenly a tracking hell sweep, it's like, suddenly you don't need to use moves that cover that option. Because you're in your 50-50 now, you have built-in tracking in one of the options, the hell sweep. So, less sophistication. The electric is super good now. It's like absolutely the best move in the game, no contest, with the fast recovery, the tracking. So these days I kind of enjoy fucking around more. He has very, very apparent weaknesses. He's super... This is gonna be a Fakumram pitch now. He's super fun in that he has a great defensive aspect in great punishment with his range, and his punish options are super strong, his block punish. He has some of the best movement in the game. Some of the best... He's one of the biggest characters, but he's like top 3 movement. Huge sidestep, huge backdash. So you can play him defensively really well. And then you have his offense with the super interesting guard break. No one else can do that. He has characters, his cancels. No other character does cancels the way he does them, and he has almost limitless options with those cancels. So he's very interesting. His back forward 4, kaboom on guard, huge plus frames, while running free, huge plus frames. One of those is very steppable, one of them is homing. You can always, if you have good reads on your opponent, you can always lock them down in heavy minus frames. But in the end, if the opponent has a good read on you, you get killed. So it feels very fair. Back forward 4 is terrible if it's ducked, while running free is terrible if it's stepped. If they know how to deal with your guard breaks, you die immediately. So I kind of like how, with this guy, there are so many ways you can play him. I like the way he looks, I love his animations, and he feels very fair. To some of you, I'm guessing you feel he's bullshit, but I can promise you, as soon as you start seeing where he leaves himself open, he's not very hard to counter. And some really bad frames on certain attacks, like especially his lows. So Fakumram to me is so much fun. I'm not going to speak for half an hour, talk for half an hour on every character, but I feel like this introduction I gave you here at least serves as an explanation of what I like in a character. Kazuya is going to go up there. Even if I don't play him a lot, Steve, Bryan, Lee, Jin, well, Devil Jin as well, even though right now he's the most Boonga Mishima. And what I mean with Boonga is, oh, Tsumo, thank you so much for the donation. The 5 at the end of 2000 triggers me. Well, now it's 2010. Thank you so much for contributing, sir. Thank you. So let's see. Those are super fun. Armor King is super fun. Don't worry, I'm gonna talk a little bit about all of those characters. Gigas is super fun. Have I missed any one of the characters I really enjoy? Geese. Let's see. Almost Safina, but not quite. Right, these are my favorite characters to play. So I explained Fakumram. You get my idea with Kazuya. I also like how Kazuya's animations, that's what sold me on him the most in Tekken 2 Tag 1. It just seems like he hits really hard. Like the while standing 2, boom, you know, they hold themselves on their liver, sparks everywhere, bzzz. Dirty Kingman. Kingmains are pretty dirty. You guys can't break throws. Donating to a charity for kids as a Kingmain would. Well, that is correct. King 1, rest his soul, ran an orphanage. King the 2nd also does that, I think. But thanks so much for helping out, buddy. Thank you. So Kazuya, love his animation, everything about him basically. Steve is probably the character I respect the most. He's one of the strongest, he's a perfect tournament character. He's not played like any other character really, but his huge move list and the properties of all of those moves allow him to pretty much almost do anything. He's so versatile in his moveset. A lot of the good moves locked behind stances, Flicker and Peekaboo. But how he plays around with timing is to me beautiful. And it captures boxing so well. Steve doesn't need a huge move list. He has a huge move list, but you can play him with back 1 and down for 2 alone. Alone. And just like a proper boxer, it's just timing. Wait, and if you have a good instinct and read, back 1 or down for 2 and counter hit, enormous damage. He stays extremely safe, he doesn't take any risks, but you need the timing, you need the read. So technical, especially with the season 3 down for 2 combo. And just the amount of work, you know, to always do the optimal spacing, the optimal combo. How do you pressure well with Steve? I just have the utmost respect for Steve players. Even though they kill my character, my poor Kazuya, yeah, he's very bad in this matchup. I still love Steve. Bryan, I made a video not too long ago on how he's one of the greatest fighting game characters ever. Now again, I haven't played every fighting game, certainly haven't played every fighting game character, but Bryan is beautiful in that he just captures it better than any other character. How one of you or someone out there playing Tekken, you know, you're a beginner, you're trying to get into intermediate ranks. You're doing pretty well, you're learning the game, you're suddenly in green ranks, and you think you understand Bryan, and then suddenly it's like you can't improve. It's Rosie, thanks so much for the support, man. It's like you can't improve. What's going on? You hit the ceiling. You plateau. They're blocking your snake edge. They're not ducking you all the time randomly. They just duck your snake edge. And suddenly you're like, you have no idea how to progress. And that's what makes Bryan so beautiful, because understanding what you're supposed to do after that took me years to understand. And he's the character where, you know, your skill development with him is like this. Oh yeah, what? Whoa. And no other character does it to that extreme. And that makes him so beautiful. And it's like, in the end, you know, in high level, he only has 1+2 throw rakes. People break those in those ranks. People don't step you needlessly because your homing moves are so good. People don't press buttons needlessly or run into you needlessly because your keep out and your counter hit game is so strong. No, people certainly don't duck you considering your mids. And they block your snake edge. So that's where, like, how do I break this turtle? Hatchet kick isn't very intimidating in the end, although it is more intimidating now with its buff. So that's where the taunt comes in. To just stress people who guard a lot versus Bryan, to get them to, you have a great taunt. So people start pressing buttons again and you counter hit them. And it's just one of the most beautiful things in Tekken, just overcoming Bryan's weaknesses. And the fact that he doesn't have a down forward 1. He doesn't have a 13 frame good poke. He doesn't have a hop kick, he has an orbital. He doesn't have a down forward 2. Instead of a down forward 1, he has a machine gun string. It's like, he's just so interesting, Bryan. He's so interesting. And of course, as I said in my Bryan video, how he's so sophisticated. He's one of the most high IQ characters. But when you look at him, he's this crazy brute. It's just insane. And you'd think he'd be Unga Bunga by his visuals, but he's the complete opposite. And that contrast is so beautiful. Oh, trust me, Mr. Naps, Jimmy, is a pretty bright guy. Pretty sure he would score pretty high on an IQ test, and so would me. But I mean, pretty much everyone who plays this game on a competitive level, you know, pro level, is very gifted. Lee, the animations alone make this character fun to play. And I like the challenge factor that Lee is not as strong as he's difficult to play. This character is the most obnoxious in terms of why does everything have to be so hard? Oh, my down 3, that's launch punishable? My low? Launch punishable low? I gotta counter it. Give me the combo. No, you gotta do a back 3-3. Almost just frame. And then cancel that into a misstep and pick up. Oh, okay. Oh, I got a forward 4. I hit. Give me my combo. No. Gotta dash into back 3-3. Oh, you want a staple combo that doesn't do 0 damage? Oh, you gotta do 4 up 3 backflip and then back 2 misstep into bound into back 2. It's everything is locked behind execution. Oh, while sending 2-3, forward 3. Not even a combo. So it's like that's easier now. Oh, you want a low that knocks down? You better do a quick slide. Duck. Forward, down, forward, 3. Down, forward, 3. Griffin, that's a very generous donation, man. Thank you so much for being so kind. $2,085 now to help the kids. Thank you all so much. $50, man. Thank you. So... Yes, Lee, you want a low that knocks down? You better do a quick slide. Is that easy? Absolutely not. So that... Couple that challenge factor with his... And how hard it is to break a turtle. Like, you have great keep out, but... Yeah, you better know how to slide if you want to succeed with Lee. I love the concept of Lee. And I like the way he looks. I have a crush on Lee. Jin is very... He's the hardest Tekken God Prime for me so far. And I've been playing Jin since Tekken 3, but really trying to master him, I would say since Tag 2. Really trying to get a good Jin. For far too long, I played him like a Mishima, like I played Kazuya. And you're more successful with that today than you were then. Because of a buff to Hell Sweep that does a lot of damage. His combos overall have gotten so much better. You can't... And his electric. His electric now being a launcher makes him more of a Mishima than he used to be. So usually when people said, oh, he's a Mishima, you would say he's not. But these days, the way he plays right now, it's like, I can see him as a Mishima. But Jin is insanely complicated to play. I was held back because I was like, I want him to work like a 10 move character. I only do 10 moves. You can't play Jin that way. Jin is where you have to assemble all of these pieces of his move list that all do very different things, and they all come together to become a great character. Because if I only play him like Kazuya, it's like Kazuya is going to do that better. Kazuya has a better forward 3, Hell Sweep, Electric, down for 2 counter hit. It's like to be a successful Jin, you have to play Jin. And all of his moves, it's a little bit like Feng, where all of his moves serve a certain purpose. Although this was broken a bit in Season 2, where you could just forward 4, standing 4. Not so much in Season 3, but still some moves stick out more than others. But if you, like me, forget about using Zen cancels, strings, parry, up forward 2, all of these different moves that have, different purposes, you're losing out on so much of a character. So Jin is incredibly interesting, and he is also held back by the fact that you have to know what move does what in terms of Sephi Black made a great point about this on the Wave Dash podcast, how tracking and homing is a little bit complicated with Jin, in that his key moves like forward 2, Hell Sweep and Electric are stepped to one side, and then he has other moves that are stepped to the other side. So playing against Jin in terms of sidestepping him is a little bit complicated. But it's also complicated for Jin in that some of your greatest moves are stepped to one side, and some of the other greatest moves are stepped to the other side. So you need a good read on how your opponent moves. Jigsaw, thank you so much for $15. Thank you so much for $15. Really appreciate it, man. $2,100, guys. Thank you so much on behalf of the kids. And $300 more, and I will start doing push-ups for every donation. Why did I include that? Why? I immediately regret that. I should ban $1 donations, I think. Devil Jin, not as interesting with the tracking Hell Sweep. Up 4 is too good in my opinion. It's very Unga. But he is also, like Jin, less complicated than Jin, higher in execution, I would say, than Jin. But yeah, it's a little bit like Jin. It made it more interesting that he lost up forward 4 into back 4, so he doesn't really have a go-to powerful mid from his wave dash anymore. Your mid option from wave dash, if you stay safe, does less damage these days. Almost balances out the crazy Hell Sweep. Now the Hell Sweep is too much these days. But again, interesting. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Armor King is a hero. He's a legacy character in Tekken 7. Where every other character in Tekken 7 has received some crazy buffs, like insane mids or lows. Kumo, thank you so much for helping out, buddy. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Armor King is interesting. He doesn't really have cheese. The throws are cheesy online, but otherwise, other than that, you have to bust your ass off. You have to bust your ass off to counter the fact that his tracking is so poor. He doesn't have strong frames at all. Armor King never controls a match. Where many of these other characters, you know, like Bryan, Kazuya, they'll do moves that are very plus on block, or good lows that on hit give you plus frames. Armor King doesn't have that. So you always need strong reads on the opponent, because he's never locked at a disadvantage behind frames. So it's so hard. You have to be so on your toes with Armor King. You have to be a JDCR to play him. And he's weak. He's really cool looking. His combos are crazy cool and damaging. He's very fun. Pseudo wrestler with a wave dash. Mishima, dark upper. Brawler, a bit like Miguel. Cool. Gigas, I love him because he's so weak. I feel like a good player when I do well with him. Although you can tell no one knows shit about him, so you get away with murder. You can use the worst strings in the game. Gigas has some of the worst strings in the game, but no one knows about them, so they just work. And I love his power crush, take them to the wall. The simplicity of his punishment, 1-2 and down 2, I really like that. And I just love the fact that he's so bad. And then you just love him because he's kind of cute in how bad he is and how slow he is, how sluggish. No movement, sitting duck, huge hitbox, no panic tools. It's just... it's like looking at a teddy bear, a harmless teddy bear. Drew, thank you for the donation. I know it isn't much, but fuck cancer. Yeah, no one should suffer through that. Absolutely. Thanks for helping out, man. Thanks for supporting the cause. Geese Howard, oh how I love the way he looks. where every other villain, when they do their super attack, would say, "You lose." Geese doesn't say "you lose" when he does Deadly Rave. He says, "You loser!" Shitting on his opponent. How can you not love that? Stay down, maggot. I love you, Geese. It's like, he's too cool. He's so cheesy. Now die. And the troll. Stand up. Now die. Throws them to the ground again. How do you want? Geese, did you want them to stand up? It's too good. I'm sorry, but that alone is like, he's at the top of fun factor. And then you add Jaiken, Raging Storm, Reppuken, Double Reppuken. It's like, sorry, it's too cool. It's too cool. And I like the execution of Raging Storm, the legendary pretzel input. And he's pretty complicated to play. He's super cheesy, but he's actually complicated to play. So yeah, that's my top. And then below I'm gonna put King Heihachi, Lei, Paul, Negan, Lee. No way. Marduk. Am I missing someone here? Noctis. That's it. Oh wait, I'm gonna add Horang. King is cheesy, but you need to be a good Tekken player to play him. You need to spend time with him. There's a lot of stuff you have to do. There's a lot of moves that go into it. It helps if you're a creative person, like Lil Majin. The throws are very interesting and fun to do. You know what? It's just a lot of fun to cheese people with his throws. His chain throws. Oh, didn't you time? Oh, my opponent, he actually knew you break the rolling death cradle by pressing 2. But he didn't time it perfectly because the break window is so small. Oh, so now he has to take 130 damage and I get a guaranteed Oki. Oh, King's Bridge. Oh, giant swing on a free bar. It's like, sorry, but it's too much fun to cheese with King. He's so good online. He's so good online. Heihachi, I don't even have to say it. So charismatic. He's a Mishima. 442. Oh, you don't have a good punish for 442? 442, 442, 442, 442. Why is this move homing again? 442, 442. Lei, fun for the cheese, fun for the creative play. Can do things no one else really does. Lay down on the ground, haha step, super movement. Great whiff punish. You can play him pretty clean with haha step and whiff punish. It's a lot of fun. Cheesing with Razor Rush. Super fun, super cheesy. Paul, the damage. It's just so satisfying. Oh, I'm in rage. Get a counter hit. Oh, you died. Rage art cancel. Hitting a death fist. It's just super satisfying. Throwing down for 2s. You know, down for 2, down for 2, down for 2. It's so cheesy. I missed a donation? Oh no, I was shouting too much. I was too into it. What donation did I miss? 25 bucks. Did anyone get the name? Oh, was it Linkless? Linkless, thank you so much for helping out. Thank you so much. On behalf of the kids. Thank you, Linkless. So Paul, Negan is super cheesy, super easy, but is he interesting? He certainly is. Launching Power Crush. many ways of getting into intimidation stance, and intimidation stance has an unbreakable throw. It has a backlash that's super fast. It has a plus on hit mid. It has a class 1 launcher. It has a low for frames. It has a kick that knocks you down on hit and is pretty good on... It has an unblockable. It's like... His mix-ups are insane. His punishment is insane. The Lucille bat gives him a lot of range on his down for 2. He can play keep out really well. I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I love his voice. He's cool, but is he cheesy? Yeah. Marduk, tackle spam. Noctis. Well, joking aside, there's a lot that goes into Marduk to make him interesting. No down for 1. But tackle spam, basically. Ora. Cheese. Unbelievable movement. The best in the game. Feels like you're playing Tekken 5 when you're in Tekken 7. She just moves that quickly and with that much distance. Her movement is Tekken 5 movement in Tekken 7. And that alone makes her incredibly interesting. And I love her animations. Her and Kazumi are the greatest female characters in my opinion. Hwoarang, from a technical standpoint, interesting. Some of the best moves locked behind stances, interesting. Cheese. Okay, so the second tier is going to be Kazumi, Dragunov. Oh, we're running out of characters here. Claudio, Law, Lars, Akuma, Feng Wei, Jack, Ganryu, Anna. I think that's going to be it. I haven't missed anyone obvious, I hope. Yeah. Kazumi, super fundamental, low execution, very clean play, strong movement, obvious tournament character, poke heavy. Interesting. Dragunov, so boonga compared to what he used to be. While running 2, back 1+2, down 2, command throws. Oh! Just a train, you know, that runs down the opponent, basically. Claudio, for his simplicity, it's interesting. Strongest hop kick that crushes a lot, super long range, super boonga. Back 1, perfect mid, flawless mid. The only mid you need. And then sidestep 4. What, +6 on hit, low? Knocks down on counter hit for guaranteed follow-up. Yeah. Completely brain dead. Outside of 3 DLC characters that were released very late, he's undisputed #1 online. You know, unstoppable. Martial law. I appreciate the fact that beginners love him, and then he can be so cheesy, but he can also be the hardest character in the game almost with his perfect DSS cancels that no one really utilizes outside for a few very strong players. I like that duality to law. I love that duality. Can be the cheesiest, can be the most complicated in terms of execution. Lars, I like how he's so weak to sidesteps, how he takes big risks, how his lows aren't all that. And I like the it's pretty funny. Runs around, flies around like a superhero. It's a bit funny. Akuma, I like the technical aspect. I like the 1 million burst damage with 2 bars. I like him from Street Fighter. And he does stuff no other character does. You know, it's interesting and it's cheesy. Feng Wei is really cool in the way that he has no over-the-top moves. Really? He has like a million moves that are all 7 out of 10. He doesn't really have these 10 out of 10 moves. So it's, yeah, constructing a game plan out of utilizing a big move list. Jack, very simplistic. I like that. Is a sitting duck under pressure. He's a little bit like a tank, a siege tank. Reminds you of Noctis a lot. The StarCraft siege tank, where works, I mean, more so maybe in Season 1, but works well from range, crumbles under pressure, and well, that's Jack. And Noctis to a certain extent. But he was really a siege tank in Season 1 and 2. As soon as they nerfed the tracking of Aura, he changed a bit. Ganryu, bullshit rushdown, uber cheese. Uber cheese. Anna, uber cheese. No one knows the matchup. If they know the matchup, she's one of the weakest characters in the game. But no one knows the matchup, so you steamroll everyone doing boonga boonga. So next up, Yoshi, Xiaoyu, Shaheen, Miguel, Eddie, Bob, Alyssa. Oh, Leo. Leo should have been sooner. Maybe Lily. Master Raven. I think we're done. Leo has a pretty straightforward approach, so I like him. Nice, interesting 50-50. Vox Stance has some interesting hits, moves with cool properties, whatever. I really don't have to say anything here. Number 1 party character, Flash, unblockable sweep, fun. Do float charts. Do float charts. No one knows the matchup. Do float charts and win. Shaheen, very fundamental and clean, just incredibly bland character. Miguel, I also find bland. Not as bland as Shaheen, but still, like, I have no interest in. He looks like a Spanish fashion model, basically. But likes to play the guitar. Yeah, I don't know. I like the brawling, but there's just something that has never clicked with me in terms of Miguel. Eddie, probably one of the most obnoxious characters to play against, but when you know the matchup, he's quite easy to counter. But again, it's hard to know the matchup. But can be fun to cheese people with him. It's a little bit brainier than people give Eddie players credit for in VM. Bob, I just don't like Bob at all. You know, he's gonna go down. All I think of is Tekken 6 and brainless shit. And he's so buff now in Season 3 that it's like, you can steamroll people with Bob. No one has ever seen Bob. Bob, in D tier, Bob. Alyssa. Lily. Raven. Mission accomplished. Mission. Julia, save the trees! Save the trees! How dare you! Josie. Bunga! 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 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Roar! Roar! Come on, sugar! Come on, sugar! Motherfucker! Can opener, down 3, 4, 3, down 3, 4, 3, can opener, down 3, 4, 3. Wait. Big brother. Okay. So, yeah, I thought that went pretty well. I think this is actually a legit ranking for me. I gave a pretty good explanation, and yeah, this is my fun factor with the characters. And yeah, right now to me, Fakurama is the most fun character. And I think it's because he's so unique. It's really what we needed, I feel, with all the characters that have been released so far as DLC. It's just a character that stands out from the rest, and he certainly does that. So good shit. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it lived up to the expectations.